Can I spin you a yarn about the pineapple?
The pineapple?
Yes.
Not much you can tell me about pineapples, but yeah, sure.
Very important fruit. Let me show you that you're wrong. So, 1492, Christopher Columbus lands on the island of Guadalupe. And for the first time ever, Western person discovers the pineapple. It kind of looks like a royal fruit, right? It's got a little crown on its head. And he describes in his journal eating it. If you've never had a pineapple before and you hadn't had other fruits that were sort of created outside of the UK, stuff like apples and stuff, the pineapple's overpowered as fuck. Like, it's a super fruit, right? It's so sweet and juicy, nice. Anyway, he describes it, brings it back, right? Prince or King Ferdinand II of Aragon, King of Spain, I think he takes it back to first. And they take a fucking, literally, boatload. Take all of these ones back. One isn't rotten. When he brings it back, it gets given to the king. So the first pineapple that's ever eaten by somebody who's a Westerner it's done in a very sort of ceremonial fashion. This myth about the pineapple propagates, and after a little while, trade begins to improve a little bit. The pineapple becomes one of the most ostentatious displays of wealth that anybody in the British aristocracy can rely on for about 300 years.
You know, on the Strand in London,
is there a pineapple?
You used to be able to rent pineapples.
$8,000. £8,000 is the equivalent of what it would cost. But people would rent them for dinner parties. And they would parade them round. Look at this. And they would have statues out front of the estate, as if to say...
You know what the gag is on the statue? So the pineapple, I'll go toe-to-toe on pineapples.
Yeah.
So on stately homes, they'll often have a stone pineapple out the front. And it's a gag. So the gag is when sailors would come back from the West Indies, they'd often bring a pineapple. And they would put the pineapple in the window. The girls would put the pineapple. And the pineapple kind of meant no gentleman callers, my husband's home.
And he's a sailor.
And that gag's been lost in the but the aristocracy put a pineapple at the front of their house. It was kind of a joke. It was a reference to that. But the joke got lost somewhere.
So that's interesting. I didn't know that. You're teaching me things about pineapples here.
I read a book about pineapples once, but my friend wrote a book about pineapples. But that thing in the Strand, you could rent pineapples and you would show them off, and then suddenly that thing that was the most lauded special thing ain't nothing. And
see where I'm going.
You look at it now and you go, what's the thing? There's nothing you can buy in a shopping mall that you will give a fuck about in 10 years. Nothing. There's nothing for you there. Fast forward, do something for you in 5 years' time. Don't buy the thing. You don't need it.
So that story about the pineapple and its subsequent demise when the French invent greenhouses and you can grow fruits from much more tropical climates where we are, related to a lesson that Rogan taught me when I went on his show last year. And I called it Rogan's Value Difficulty Conflation. Look at the car he's driving. Look at the watch he's wearing. Look at the girl he's with. That's unattainable to many people, so it seems like it's valuable. But then you attained it. And then you realized, oh, this isn't valuable. This is just difficult to get. And there's a difference. There's a big difference. What's valuable is something that fulfills you intellectually, emotionally, spiritually, and lovingly. Most smart people realize that there is value in stepping outside of their comfort, that on the other side of discomfort is something valuable. We're told that worthwhile things are difficult to attain because if they weren't difficult to attain, they wouldn't be worthwhile. This is how non-valuable but difficult things get slipped into our desires without us noticing. Attaining something worthwhile is often going to be difficult, but just because it's difficult doesn't mean it's worthwhile. We use the challenge as a proxy for virtue or value or alignment or integrity. There's some signaling going on here too. Difficult things by design will be attained by a small number of people, which makes them desirable simply because it's an easy way to stand out from the crowd. But just because it's difficult to attain does not mean that it's valuable.